It feels a little weird to have a little intro title thingy Madoodad and then to just drop us on a very calm and muted thing. But, hey! Guess who's back? Yeah, it's me. It's the guy's video you clicked on. Yeah, I'm back! Woo! It's been a little longer than usual. I appreciate. You know, my breaks are usually more 2 to 3 months rather than nearly 6. Yeah. My bad? I mean, it wasn't really my bad. It was out of my hands. But anyway, look, long-winded intro, slightly warranted this time. Because, you know, these are bonus episodes at the end of the day. Lovely little bonus episodes. And, you know, I'm going to treat them a little less seriously than the main story. But also, it's the first thing I've posted since posting something that actually did quite well. And, well, look, I know people do it, so if you're here to be like, hey, Nathan, character analysis? Yes, there is gonna be another one, and if you're wondering when it's gonna come out, I cannot say exactly, but I have written the first draft of the script, so I need to edit that, then do the voiceover, then actually get the footage. Which... They tend to be easier jobs. Honestly, the worst bit is going to be editing the final video. Editing the saline video was hellish. It is one of the most arduous things I have ever had to do, and that is a very simple video to make. I mean, way more complicated than one of these videos, but that was still a pretty simple video to make. But anyway, yeah, if you're here for updates on that, it is coming, don't you worry. Now, for the people who are here for the Let's Play stuff, you know, the 20 of you, yeah, I mean, well, you kind of already know from the thumbnail of this one, I'm guessing, but my hope with these is that we're going to do each of the DLCs in one video. As far as I'm aware, each one of them's like an hour each-ish? So I think we can probably get each one of them in one video without it being like too weird. In fact, if there are bits that I have to edit out, it might be even shorter. We might actually have some moderately lengthed episodes of a Let's Play that I'm putting out. Shock and horror. So yeah, that's the hope. The hope is that this week is the final week of final week of Rain Code. Little sad about that. I will say, though, there are 3 things about Rain Code that I have, well, not just learned, but 3 things about Rain Code that I kind of want to say. They're also not all in light of it being like 5 or so months since you know, I beat the game and I've had time to sit on it for a little bit longer. There's like one point that's like that. And it's a negative one, I suppose, so we'll go into it. I don't think I was harsh enough on how awkward the epilogue was. I like to be perfectly honest. My thoughts on the rest of the story and the main plot hasn't really changed at all. I still really enjoyed it. The bits that I liked, I still liked. The couple of bits here and there that I didn't like, I still didn't really like. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I still really enjoy it. But yeah, that epilogue, like, I made fun of it a little bit, you know, with some of my I don't know, ad-libbing, I guess. But, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty, like, expositing stuff to the degree that it did in this epilogue even. Like, I get it, obviously. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like half of this information could have just been given to us in a final cutscene by Kurumi, right? Where you could have just had her monologuing when she's getting on the train or something, right? It was like, oh yeah, this is how the world's changed in the however long it was since Yuma left. You can even slip in, hey, you know what, maybe if you want it to be like a little bit of a surprise, when she's at the train station, she can see all of our well, almost all of our detective friends. Salute to you, Yakou. You know, you can see Desuhiko, Vivia, Hallara, and Fubuki. You know? Why not? They just like wave her off. Or she waves them off as they get on a train. Or something like that. I could have just done that instead. And it'd been nice and short. I mean, sure, the luxury of... Not luxury. The novelty of wandering around as Kurumi for a bit was nice, I guess. But, it's whatever. So I think I should have been a little harsher on that. Because it was really bad. But... Well, in terms of, like, being awkward exposition, it was really bad. Otherwise, as an epilogue, it was fine. Second, wow! I can't believe I missed the dunk your head in water and drink it out through your asshole like a straw line. I can't believe I missed that back in Chapter 3. That would have been hilarious. That was it. Because her name's like Guilam, right? I think I was calling her Guilame for like the entire... Well, Chapter 3 and afterwards, actually. And to be honest, I think I'm still gonna call her Guilame. You can't stop me. And third of all, something very, very good. You might know that I'm a bit of a Hallara simp, but you know, when we saw the credits, the opening credits, I was like, yeah, I recognize some of these voice actors and actresses. You know, I couldn't remember where I knew Amber Lee Connor from. And I know her from a couple of things here and there. But the one that really, like, me was the fact that she plays Farina in Genshin Impact. That was, wow. What a talented voice actress. Like, holy shit. To be fair, Amber Lee Connor does voice another character in Genshin, and they sound a lot like Hallara, and yet I still didn't, like, put two and two together. But, hey, it is what it is. Okay, that's enough for Raincoat. You know what? There's almost no point in doing this, but we've got the long-winded intro. And I'm talking about, like, I don't know, this cleanup stuff. So I might as well bring this up. What are we doing next, huh? These are the bonus episodes. What's coming next? Well, this is a world exclusive. You know, I don't think I've ever actually said this. Maybe I have. Maybe I did, and I've forgotten in the finale, but I'm telling you now, the next big Let's Play is a terrible choice for the channel, but a great choice for me. I'm gonna be returning to Atelier Ryza with Atelier Ryza 2. Worst performing series on the channel, but man did I have a lot of fun with it. Or the original, anyway. So, I'm excited for that. My audience generally probably will not be. Not that I really... Not that I really have an audience, but, you know, it is what it is. After that, though, because I assume Italia Riser 2 is probably going to be a little bit longer than the first, but not that much longer. Which means that I'm going to have ample time for another Let's Play after that. And I don't really know what I want to do for it. Like, I have a couple of ideas, but you know what? We're at the point where I'm totally willing to take suggestions once more, you know? I mean, 2 of the last, like, 3 or 4, whatever Let's Plays that I've done have been requests. This game, request. 13 Sentinels, request. So, you know, maybe we're on the verge of another one. Or I'll just continue doing what I want to do. But one of the options for what's going to happen afterwards is what we're going to be doing on the weekends. If you watch my Fire Emblem Ironmans, that, again, I tend to post on the weekends in more of a live streamy format than this, so, you know, it's even more awkward with even more pauses and, or periods of silence for no reason. Those will be back. We'll be back with Binding Blade on this Saturday, actually. Yeah. That one is probably going to be quite short. There is almost no fucking chance I beat that game as an Iron Man. I've never done it before, and I've tried maybe 10 times, which is quite embarrassing. But, you know, again, it is what it is. And then after that, we will also be making a return to Fire Emblem 3 Houses for another Iron Man. What happens with that one, I don't know. If I run out of time, then that will become the main series for a little bit. But if I don't run out of time, then I'm gonna need something else to fill that void. And I do have another idea, but I'm not gonna hard commit to it yet. Just in case. Just in case. And I think that's everything. That's been what's up with me for the past, 6 months. That's what I've had brewing. How have you been, huh? Tell me all about it, please. I mean, you could, I guess. There's nothing stopping you. Don't be parasocial about it, though, you know? Don't make it weird. Anyway, Yakou, I have no clue what these are gonna be. So, show me, big guy. Show me what this is. Yakou Furio. Lazy and irresponsible at first glance, the Kanai Ward native. Oh no, I thought that was this, and I just got that wrong. Nope, it is the Kanai Ward native is a detective and head of the only agency in the city, the Nocturnal Detective Agency. Should I be doing it? God damn, I'm gonna have to remember their voices now. Desuhiko in his absence of one. No, this is easy. Halera got, the kind of, the Kyoko-esque voice. You know, this one. Vivian got the Yuritsa. Not that I had to bust it out very often, but yes, this is the one. And Fubuki got the Sonya voice, as expected. Yakou got the kind of the Yasuhiro one, so, let's do it. Even if you forget how to be angry, even if you forget how to be sad, even if you forget the blue of the sky, even if you forget the shimmer of the stars. How to be a master detective, a Yakou Furio case. Okay. Oh, so I guess this is this is just a big text scroll. Okay, so this one is different from the others, right? This one is different. This is actually a visual novel-y, well, not visual novel, light novel-y thing, right? This was free. This came with the game. Came with my game. The others, I believe, are in the 3D engine for, you know, the rest of Rain Code. I don't know what we're going to be doing in those, but it's there. Anyway, wow. Actually, well, this really is a throwback to Ultra Despair Hagakure, huh?
I only realized the loftiness of my expectations for how rewarding and exciting part-time work at a bar could be after those expectations weren't met. In other words, working at a bar was neither rewarding nor exciting. Learning to mix drinks and dealing with drunks were complete hassles. There wasn't even the shoulder of a cute co-worker to cry on. It was pretty much just me, the only part-timer alone with the 40-something-year-old bearded owner. Sometimes I'd be left to fend for myself until the next day rolled around. And there were plenty of reasons to leave, including the fact that it was a job anybody could do, not to mention that it was just too physically demanding. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually quit. Everyone around me was buckling down for college exams or making the most of their last summer of freedom. But I couldn't be bothered. If I quit my job, I'd have nothing to do. The clock was ticking, though. Living off the wages of a part-time bartender was rough, and if I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, I'd end up in a Kanai Ward factory. Probably someplace like Amaterasu Corp, which had been making waves. Clock in for exactly 8 hours every day. Come evening, some boring book in one hand, a beer in the other. Repeat ad nauseum for 40, 50 years. Terrifying. Terrifying how perfectly clear that image in my head is in my head. There was just nothing I wanted to be. Or rather, it's more like I don't think I can be what I want to be.
Good. Damn, 3% of the way through, Yakou, and you're hitting me with that. Hitting me with the relatable, man, I have like no ambition, but I gotta do something. Yeah, oh man, now. Let's get personal again real quick, shall we? I'm so good at doing that, because, I mean, that's the exact situation I'm in, right? With my life. It's like, I have hobbies, I have things I like to do. I've obviously been to university. I've now got a degree. Thank you for asking. But like, I don't fucking know what I want to do with my life. I have no grand plans. It's like, I just gotta get by. But, I need to have some clue. And yet I don't. I got nothing. Unlike Yakou, I don't have a dead-end job to fall back on yet, you know. Maybe I'll go work in McDonald's. I mean, that's the go-to. Well, look, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to work in the fast food industry. And if I have to work every fast food job known to man, hey, it's got to be done.
And so to not have to deal with those sorts of unproductive thoughts, I mix drinks at a bar. Ice whiskey cola, ice whiskey soda, ice whiskey. The first two drinks should be stiff. The more booze flows, the less fuzzy customers tend to be. But get them too drunk and you only find yourself in more trouble, so hitting that sweet spot is key. The trick is to watch the eyelids. Even if someone looks sober, once their eyelids start to droop, it means they're one or two drinks away from a meltdown or throwing stuff around. But someone who looks dead drunk can stand firm on his own 2 feet all night. As long as his eyelids don't give. The most annoying customers are the ones who only order beer or drinks on the rocks. Simple orders, sure, but I can't adjust the strength of their drinks. And all I can do is offer a chaser and hope the person I'm dealing with doesn't suck. I wasted my skills, dreams, and youth that would otherwise go completely unused. Also, I can snag a couple extra sales. Beardy left me alone today. Since all the customers had already left, I closed the till a little earlier than usual. Not bad earnings-wise. It is Friday after all. As I count up the sales, I think about my crap hourly wage. I'm sure I put the close sign on the door, but it's only bursts open all the same. Sorry, we're already...
Hand over the money!
What? 2 skinny guys in balaclavas, both holding black batons. One of the balaclavas walks right up to me and crack. Sound like one billiard ball smashing into another. There's an iron tang in the back of my nose and I find myself facing the ceiling. Huh? Oh, seems like I've been attacked. I turn my head in time to see the backs of darkened figures as they scram out of the sorry, getting clobbered in the noggin's really done a number for my ability to say words. Scram out the front of the bar, and I check the register sitting there on the counter. Completely cleaned out, aside from a few coins. Tough break. Yeah, right. I rush out the bar in pursuit, but the balaclava boys are nowhere to be seen. What to do? Should I look around more? No, I should call the police. Oh, wait, before that, I need to tell Beardy. Okay, alright. Sorry, old man. You alright? A strange old guy in a beaten up suit calls out to me. I'm pretty far from alright, but I'm not about to tell him that. Your nose, it's leaking. What? Then I realize it. This is the sensation of cold blood beneath my nostrils. And alongside that realization, I'm feeling in the bridge of my nose like it's about to explode. You got robbed or what? Yeah. What's your name? Yakou. Yakou Furio. Wrong. Your name's Adele Weber. What? You know the rundown office building on the other side of the hotel? Used to have a cram school inside. Well, actually... You're on the second floor. Go and give him that name. We'll get your money back. Huh? Wait, what are you talking about? It's true. I can see into the future. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's true, I can see the future. XXX. It's not like I believe anybody can actually see the future, but when some middle-aged guy says something that cryptic then disappears, it holds a certain persuasive power over you. To be honest, it would have been a hassle getting the police or Beardy involved. It's not like I get the money back. And more importantly, Beardy can be a total pill. So I went to the building to see for myself. Lights only seeping out of the windows on the second floor. The old man was right. Seriously? Of course, that isn't proof the balaclavas from before are actually inside, but I'm hoping they are. I'm hoping what the man said about getting the money back is true. That what he said about being able to see the future is true. I won't complain about a little excitement in this boring life of mine from time to time. Half filled with prayer and half filled with excitement, I slowly climb the pitch-black stairwell of the building. Upon reaching the second floor, I find myself in front of a dented aluminium door. Yeah, that's right, aluminium, not aluminum. You Yanks. Light trickles through a pane of frosted glass set at eye level. If those guys really are in this building, I'm in the right place. So what now? Am I supposed to kick down the door and tell them I'm Adele Weber, like the old guy told me? Ridiculous. Even if this is their hideout, it's not like they'll believe me just because I say that name. And I doubt they're gonna stop at a nosebleed this time.
You know, before we get into it, this really was reminding me of that one scene in the original Somnium Files, where Date goes to the Yakuza den for the first time. Just like kicks the door in. He's like, yeah, this is real interesting. Hey, guys, nah, I'm just looking for the guy you're keeping at the back. Yeah, ooh, so Sajima, huh? And then they pull out the guns, and it's like pew 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 pew. And then Moma's like, ah, and then yeah, I mean, it's just like that, right? You know, if you play the game, you know.
I should definitely just call the police.
Is someone there?
Did they hear me? Or maybe they saw me through the glass.
Whoa!
The aluminium door bursts open, like someone kicked it from the other side.
Who the hell are you?
A young man who might be one of the balaclavas from earlier scowls at me. Behind him is a dusty room roughly the size of a small studio apartment. In the center of the room is a large table littered with half-eaten rice. On either side of it are two shabby couches, their stuffing popping out. Seated on one of the couches is another young man who could also be one of the balaclava boys.
Hey, aren't you the guy from the bar?
Return the money. Please.
Nah, don't feel like it.
The guy sitting on the sofa reaches one hand back without looking. A metal bat sprouts from behind him. Crap. This really isn't gonna end with just a nosebleed. The words spill out of my mouth before I can even think. I'm Adele Weber. The men look at one another, and I can tell they're discussing something with those glances.
Adele? You don't think...
Think? What? What are they thinking? I don't know, I have no idea. The only thing I do know is that if I stay here any longer, things aren't gonna end well for me. Please return it. Now. The men confer again with their eyes. Silence. I notice flecks of dust swirl before me.
We're sorry!
The guy holding the metal bat bows his head with fervor. Before I can blink, his partner up close does the same. Blood, likely frozen by the tension, resumes flowing through me. The edges of my vision flicker white. Adele Weber. Who the hell is he? It has to be someone whose face these guys don't know, someone they can't refuse. No explanation comes to mind. Maybe they're funkies in some gang and Adele Weber is the name of their boss. Maybe he's so secretive even the other gang members don't know his face. Or maybe... I've seen way too many B-movies.
Maybe Yakou.
When I ask who the hell he is, I also mean the man in the suit. He claimed he could see the future, but was he being serious? Granted, he was right about the Adele Weber thing, and I did get the money back, but that doesn't prove he's clairvoyant. Hold on. What if the old man is actually Adele Weber? I mean, he could be, right? And so, in conclusion, just who the hell is this Adele Weber guy? Well, anyway, I've recovered the stolen money. Either because the adrenaline had worn off, or because I just crossed an incredibly dangerous bridge, and I found myself covered in goosebumps. If you had told me my skull was crushed by that metal bat and I was just a stain on the wall, I might have believed you. And so in that state, I made my way back to the bar.
You're back early?
The old guy in the suit sitting at the counter says to me, somewhat casually.
Oh, what is it this guy? I guess the old guy. You're back early?
What are you doing here?
Nothing really. I just thought you'd want a proper farewell is all.
I appreciate it, but I have no idea what's going on.
Before we get into that, how'd it go? You get the money back?
Yeah, thanks to you. But what's this all about? Can you really see the future? And what's the deal with Adele Weber and...
Oh, right. I'm a master detective.
Huh?
Know what I'm talking about? Master detectives.
I mean, I've heard things, but... Master detectives? Sleuths with extraordinary abilities belonging to an extra-legal, extra-privileged organization devoted to extraditing the world's unsolved mysteries. The World Detective Organization. Yeah, I remember hearing that a whole bunch of times in the main game. Telekinesis, clairvoyance, mind reading, the ultimate detectives. Heroes. No kidding. Gonna assume the old man.
No kidding. You're pretty well informed.
When I was a kid, I mean, I'm still a kid, but I used to want to be a detective. Oh, that means your forensic forte is being able to see the future, right?
Yeah, my forte is called foresight. When I touch someone, I can see the next hour of their life. Well, I say see, but it's more like an instant imprint onto my mind.
Hold on a second. If you have to touch someone physically for your power to work, does that mean you touched the robbers earlier?
They bumped right into me when they left the bar.
They were causing a ruckus, so I looked into their future. I saw their hideout was on the other side of the hotel, and their boss's last name was Weber, and that he had a little brother named Adele. They didn't seem to know the brother, so I gave you the name.
I see. The boss's little brother. That does explain what happened earlier, but...
I'm parched. How about pouring me a beer?
Sure, no problem, but...
But what? If you got something to say, say it.
I'm just wondering if it's all... true. You did help me out earlier, but that doesn't mean you couldn't have known about the robbery before then. You might even be the boss or his brother, Adele Weber, as cliche as it sounds. And to be frank, it's hard to imagine a real master detective would be sitting in front of me.
You did mention something about wanting to be a detective. Pain in my ass.
Sorry?
First of all, name's Mitsume. Mitsume Haring, not Adele Weber. Second, if you want proof I can see the future...
Mitsume places the palm of his hand on his forehead, as if he were checking for a fever.
There we go. You see that woman in the dress through the glass door, yeah?
Yeah. A woman in a black dress walks toward us from an alley.
And there's a man in a hoodie by the pole in front of her, yeah?
Yeah.
The woman is going to walk past the man in the hoodie. After 3 seconds, she'll drop something like a handkerchief or a scarf. The man will step forward to pick it up, just as she realizes she dropped it and turns around. Chance encounter. They'll recognize each other, decide to grab drinks, and walk away.
He lays it all out in detail. One walks past the man in the hood. 1, 2... Oh. She drops her scarf. Needless to say, the rest plays out just like Mitsume had predicted.
I saw my own future. The future we're witnessing now.
Rad! That's totally tubular, dude! He's the real deal. I think that someone as terrifying as a master detective is here in Karnai Ward. What's he doing in a place like this? Is he working a case? What kind of cases has he solved before? The questions bubble up like a freshly opened bottle of tonic water. But first, I have to thank you properly.
Oh, don't worry about it. I just felt like helping. If you must, about bringing me that beer.
But I'd feel bad if I couldn't do something to pay you back. That's a lie. Of course I want to thank him, but there's more to it. I don't want this meeting to end. I want to get in his good graces.
Oh yeah?
He thinks for a second.
And how about working part-time at my detective agency?
Huh?
It'd suit you better than this place.
I guess I got my wish! Alright!
Yeah, good job, Yakou. That took like a whole 10 seconds after you said it. Well, thought it.
And so I started working at Mitsume's detective agency, the Karnai Ward branch of the World Detective Organization. I quit my job at the bar without a second thought. It occurred to me again that the reason I'd kept mixing drinks was because I was worried about not having anything to do. I was so excited to start my new extraordinary life working under a master detective, but... Master detective, sorry, I'm so bad at saying that, especially in these voices. Well, it wasn't what I expected. The only case assigned to me involved finding lost cats and investigating cheating spouses. Who am I? Shuichi Saihara? And that, kids, is a Danganronpa V3 reference. You see, back in my day, there was this dinky little console called the PS Vita. Moved on a bit from those days, but, you know, it was a delight at the time, but on that console was it... Wait, where are you going? What are you showing that Switch to me for? Danganronpa... Kids these days. You got everything just so easily available. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. I'm not that old. No, I'm just dead. Anyway.
I'm just gonna assume this is the old man again.
Dumbass! How are you gonna help out with these requests from the WDO? Those are top secret! You get the run-of-the-mill stuff I don't need to be bothered with. The easy jobs. Makes sense?
Makes sense. The silly dream shattered in an instant. By the way, the office was as typical gets. Just a normal room in a regular office building. I'd imagined, fantasized, about hidden doors behind bookshelves which would subsequently lead to rooms filled with cutting-edge tech. You can imagine my disappointment when I first saw a branch office of the world-renowned WDO.
Is that why you have a submarine office then, Yakou? Just because it's kind of cool? And less so because you needed to hide from Amaterasu Corp. You know, just throwing it out there.
How dense are you? Only the diffident would get hung up on that kind of crap.
Yeah, I get it, but it's natural for a teenage boy to have that sort of expectation, right? That said, since I'd started working at Mitsume's agency, my day-to-day life blossomed. Partly because I'd wanted to be a detective ever since I was a kid, and partly because even seemingly straightforward jobs required some degree of creativity. Take a lost cat, for example. I'd have to consider its personality, lifestyle, the surrounding geography, and so on if I wanted to guess where it might be. If I found it, I'd feel like I'd just beaten the game. If I didn't, it became trial and error. There was something to learn in that repetition.
God damn, don't fucking... Oh, this is the same problem I had with Yasuhiro. But back in the day...
Oh yeah, it really was back in my day.
But like, oh fuck, doing their voice for extended periods of time just fucking kills me. And I'm only a third of the way through this. Sheesh. It's also going to be a little bit long, I see. It's probably going to be like an hour and a half of just me reading. But, hey, isn't that why we watch me play visual novels? Well, actually, I mean, this visual novel's mostly voice acted, so I guess not, but still, right?
Adultery cases were usually depressing, but staying at a hotel made me feel like I was doing real detective work. And although it wasn't like me, even I get swept up in the emotion of it all when a client tearfully said something like, "Now I can start my life over." But when I reported to Mitsume about these experiences, I'd be met with a cold expression.
You're a real detective once those emotions end. Once it becomes routine and no longer affects you.
Then why are you a detective? Why are you a detective? What's your motivation now?
I don't need motivation. A pro just gets the job done.
For real? I mean, I'd already figured out this emotional high wouldn't last forever, but Mitsume's words hit me harder than anything Beardy had ever said. I learned I was the shallow type of person who puts title and position above all else. Because truthfully,
You've got a knack for this, kid.
nothing made me happier than when Mitsume praised me. Me, having a knack for anything. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself.
Don't put yourself down like that, Yakou. I mean, it like we know Yakou decently well from the main game, but like, yeah, man, it's we never really got into like that struggle of being the normal guy, right? Like, we did bring it up in one of the Gumshoe Gabs, but it wasn't really. It wasn't really something we went into too much detail on, right? I don't know, it's like, we obviously also didn't get to see Yakou do any detective work. He was like the only one we didn't really get to see do anything. The closest we get is in Chapter 4, where he... I mean, even at the time, like, I certainly got caught up in the emotions of it all. You know, myself. You know, at the time, it's like, oh, yeah, no, he just had a lot of faith in us, you know? But, like, no, Yakou is incredibly intelligent in his own right. And, you know, he successfully planned out this almost impossible murder. It's one of those, there's a fine line between detective and criminal. Both are masters in crime. Typically, criminals aren't that good at committing crimes, especially if they get caught. But, yeah, you know, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I don't know. So it's also just nice to see him have a nice. Well, it's not really a positive relationship, but it's a positive relationship for him, right? It bigs him up a bit, makes him feel good. And yeah, I just like the introspection from him.
Driven by that high, I felt nothing but respect for him at first. But master detectives are humans too. And when it comes to women, Mitsume was particularly human. Yikes. And more than once I'd arrive at the office to find a strange woman sleeping on the couch. And during one such occasion, another woman showed up at the same time. Two women inevitably met, and Mitsume ran off after telling me to take care of it. In the end, both women waited in the office all day, and after listening to Mitsume make his sweat-laden excuses upon his return, slapped him in the face. And it was the first time I'd seen an adult grovel on his knees. You know, I gave him the old man voice. I don't think he's actually that old. If he's getting up to this, it's probably more like old man for me in the main game. I'm in like my 30s or 40s or whatever. Not really that old, but you know, I'm slowly getting there. Or I was before I fucking died. I also sometimes wondered if there was some hidden meaning to the assignments Mitsume threw my way. Like the time I had to sit in a specific seat in a cafe for a whole day. Literally just sit. Or when I endlessly tailed some guy without knowing a single thing about him. A chubby guy in red sweats. Followed him the entire day and didn't see anything suspicious. But they were Mitsume's orders, which meant there had to be some intention behind them. And thus I tackled them all with diligence. I also scrubbed the bathroom in the office until it shined. Inevitably, I had started to realize that detective work was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But anybody can dream. The hard part's keeping that dream alive. It's been 2 months since I started working at Mitsume's detective agency. I'm in the red light district hunting for a lost cat. The lights around me dim as I turn into an alley. At that moment, a large black car stops on the side of the road. Sitting in the driver's seat, running shotgun, are the Balaclava boys from before. This time they're barefaced and wearing ill-fitting suits. I hide behind a telephone pole as soon as I recognize them. Up to no good again, I guess. Or maybe they just finished. As I observe them, I notice Mitsume in the back seat. He's laughing with the man beside him. The man has tattoos in a circular pattern beneath both eyes. Teardrops. Lots of them. It's customary for gangbangers to get a teardrop tattooed for each person they kill, right? In that case, how many lives has this guy taken? Wait. Hold on. Could the tattooed man be Adele Weber's older brother? The boss of the Balaclava boys? That would explain why one of them's the driver. But why is Mitsume joking around with a gang boss? Is Mitsume actually the boss's younger brother? No, the tattooed man looks younger. If anything, he'd be Mitsume's younger brother. But that would make Mitsume the boss? Maybe they're just friends. Business partners? Whatever the case, I'd been duped. But in what way? To what end? I continue watching as whatever strength holding me up drains from my legs. How long has it been? 10 minutes? As I wrap up that friendly chat, Mitsume hands a tattooed man an envelope. Checks the contents. Fat stack of cash. His fingers flicker as he counts it. He grins with an expression that says, "All here." Mitsume exits the car along with the Balaclava boys. Turning to face them, he lowers his head in a bow of thanks. Then disappears into the red light district. My legs finally give out. Behind closed eyelids, a white haze whirls. The hell? What's going on? Mitsume gave them money, so he must be involved in something shady, right? But he's a master detective of the World Detective Organization. Wait, what if he's been lying about being a master detective? No, he definitely saw the future. Even if he knew the location of the Balaclava boys' hideout because he was in bed with them, that wouldn't explain how he knew what would happen outside the bar. Unless that was also some kind of trick.
Yeah, ooh. Exciting! Ooh! Yeah, I don't know, could be, right? Because we saw this before with the, in that one side quest in the main game with the guy who can, like, predict the future. Who was actually, funnily enough, an old man. Huh. Well, curious. But, yeah, like, that guy was, you know, I mean, he was just sitting around duping us. Granted, you know, Yuma didn't really fall for it, but still. Or is Mitsume playing the long game? He's trying to bust him from the inside. Time will tell. Unless this ends on a cliffhanger and I just never find out. Fuck you, game. Visual, not visual, light novel DLC. Eat my ass. Oh, no, woman. I don't know, I guess I'll just give her slightly generic, mature woman voice. Yakou?
I turned my head up toward the voice. Who is this again? A woman in her mid-20s.
Did you already forget? We met at the detective agency, remember? I ran into that other woman. I'm Ehab, but you can call me Eha.
The name doesn't ring a bell, but she's definitely one of Mitsume's playmates.
What's wrong? You look terrible.
Well, that's... Never mind. I'm just dealing with some personal issues.
Does it have something to do with Mitzi?
What makes you think that?
All he does is make the people around him cry. Including me and other women, of course. He's not a bad guy, though. No, but I guess that's something people usually say about bad guys.
Did you know he can see the future?
Huh? The future? Like ESP?
Yeah, he claims that if he touches someone, he can see the next hour of their life.
Oh, you're joking.
Mitsume usually kept quiet about being a master detective, so it's not surprising Ahab doesn't know. But it makes sense if you think about it, right? If Mitsume can see the future, it'd explain everything.
You want to believe him, don't you?
I guess so.
But it's not true. He can't see the future. If he could, he wouldn't be so terrible with women. And I wouldn't have bumped into that other woman.
Well, you see, there are special conditions for his power to work, and...
You'd have to touch me, right? That's the condition? He certainly did that. And then some.
Sexy. Not! I don't want to think about the old man touching women's boobs. The extent of my knowledge about that kind of thing is limited to what I've seen in books and videos. Nothing more! I'm a good, virginal man. If she says that's what happened, then that's what happened. Conditions must have been met. Maybe he has a personal policy to not use his foresight in private matters? Or maybe it goes against his principles? But that's a lot to assume of him. Hypothetically speaking, what if Mitsume is a fraud? He wouldn't be able to see the future. But if that were true, he wouldn't have been able to predict what we saw through the glass door of the bar. Did he hire actors beforehand, anticipating I doubt his abilities? No, what would be the point of doing all that just to fool me?
I clearly guess I want to do some weird dirty work. Though what dirty work sitting in a chair all day is, yeah, I don't know, but you are cleaning his toilet, so... you know, that's pretty important stuff. You know, cleaning a toilet can be hard work. If other people don't take care of it, I would know. Having lived with people on multiple occasions who don't really take care of their toilets. That's what I'm saying.
Or maybe that scene he predicted was actually one that happened all the time and I just never noticed. And again, he said the woman would suddenly drop a scarf. For him to know that, he had to be clairvoyant. When the deductions don't add up, investigate the scene. I parted ways with Ahab and went back to my old bar. I didn't burn any bridges when I quit, but I also didn't want to deal with Beardy. My reluctance was ultimately unwarranted, as he'd already hired a new part-timer. A cute one at that. Seems like he hadn't given my resignation a second thought. If anything, he was probably grateful I left. I order a cola, sit in the same seat Mitsune sat in when he made his prediction, and look out the glass door. No sign of the woman or the man in the hood from before. The current time is a little earlier than the time at which Mitsune had made his prediction back then. And before I entered the bar, I looked around the area where the woman had dropped her scarf, but didn't find an air vent or any other contrivance that could have increased the likelihood of someone dropping something. I continue observing through the glass door, but no ideas come to mind. There's only the melting of ice in my drink.
Okay. Stutter? Wait.
Excuse me.
Is the expression on my face that dour? The part-timer who had taken over my position speaks to me gingerly.
It's lost coal. Would you like anything else?
Oh, I'm not sure I'm even going to finish this. That's right. Fundamentals. After investigating the scene, the next step is to question witnesses. Can I ask you something? Have you ever looked through the glass door and seen a woman drop her scarf near the pole?
No, I don't think so.
Figured as much.
Oh, that must have been the queue, right?
The queue?
You don't know? The other day a group of drug dealers were arrested. I guess they were selling on the streets around here because the owner and I were both questioned by the police. They said the dealers and customers had a secret way of communicating with each other, and it sounded like that might be what you were describing.
That's it. Mitsumi knew the man by the pole was a dealer. The woman approaching was a customer, and what their secret cue was. The way he described it made it sound like he could see the future. Come to think of it, he was vague when he said she'd drop a handkerchief or a scarf. He knew the cue was to drop something made of cloth, but didn't know what it'd be. Then it's confirmed. Mitsume can't see the future. He lied about belonging to the World Detective Organization. He's just a local detective with ties to a criminal outfit. But I still can't figure out why he helped me after I had been robbed. Did he want to grunt around to take care of easy jobs for him? Or did he just want to mess with the Balaclava boys? There are plenty of explanations, and they all fit. Yeah.
Very intriguing. But also, hey, you know what? I said I like the introspection. I like just hearing Yakou do his thing mentally. It's good stuff, because we don't really get this usually, right? This is like I guess kind of a downside. Oh, well, not really well, no, it is. It definitely ends up being a downside half the time, but like, characters like this that you play as, you never really get a full inner monologue for, right? Not in games, because, like, they have to keep it vague. I feel like Ace Attorney is usually the biggest offender of this, right? But there's something that should be super obvious, but the playable characters, and sometimes the other characters as well, are like, what is this? What does it mean? And it's not because they're stupid, it's because it's a video game, and if they just told you everything, there'd be no point in playing the video game, except, you know, experiencing it as a visual novel. But I mean, a game like Ace Attorney specifically is more like, it is more game than visual novel. Specifically in the case of Ace Attorney, right? So like there, it's kind of, they can't just outright tell you things, because otherwise what would be the point, right? And I mean, you see that a lot with like the early game cases. Usually the first one, sometimes the second one, will show you who the killer is, and people really don't like that. Despite the fact that in those cases, it's more about the, how do you figure out how this guy did it, rather than, oh, who done it? Because realistically, it's always very obvious who did it in Ace Attorney, right? Sure, that's something you can say in retrospect, especially, but generally speaking, it's pretty obvious. Like, there are usually like 2 potential suspects, and one of them definitely couldn't have done it. So you know who the killer is. It's just like, how did they do it, though? But yeah, no, like, you just don't get to experience the full detective thought. Even in Danganronpa, right? You never really get this with Shuichi, kind of for the same reason that you don't get it with, say, Phoenix or Apollo in the Ace Attorney games. Now, that is actually something curious, or something that I wonder about, is in Danganronpa Kirigiri, because I haven't read much of Danganronpa Kirigiri, but I know that the first, like, volume or arc or whatever it's not from Kyoko's perspective. I've read this, it's from Yui's perspective. If you don't know who that is, she's a character unique to Dangan Kirigiri. Yeah, she's not really that important outside of that, but, you know, she was there. And I actually don't know how much, or if any, of Danganronpa Kirigiri is actually from Kyoko's perspective. Which is a very interesting way to do it if it's not at all from her perspective. And, like, it's almost all through Yui's. Like, a very interesting way to go about that. But still, it's like, you don't really get the full actual... Well, I mean, Yakou's not an actual detective, but, you know, we know he's going to become one. You just don't really get it otherwise, is what I'm trying to say. So, it's nice to actually see it.
Still, I don't want to believe it. I want to believe Mitsume. I want to believe he really is a master detective who can see the future. That he's working towards some goal I can't even imagine. That all of my suspicions be flipped around in one triumphant final move like in a game of checkers. Something like that. I can't help but believe in that sort of future.
So I don't think it's going to end up so well for your hopes and dreams here, Yakou, but... Hey. I like your positive attitude.
He must have come straight back from the red light district. Mitsume was lying on the couch, puffing a cigarette with a newspaper in hand.
What's up? What's with that scary-looking face?
I told him everything. That I saw him hand money to the tattooed man in the black car. That I figured out the foresight trick he had pulled at the bar.
Oh, that.
Despite the weight of my accusations, Mitsume's expression doesn't change.
Yeah,
Smoke seeps from his mouth as he exhales. A nerve-wracking 2 or 3 seconds.
Isn't that kind of racking supposed to be W-R-A-C-K? Maybe not.
I lose the battle of wills and begin blurting out words. But why? Did someone force your hand, or... There's some kind of hidden agenda, right? He puts out the cigarette. Unbothered expression on his face, he continues.
You're right about everything. I can't see the future, and I'm not a master detective with the WDO. I'm just another private eye born and raised in Karnai Ward. I cover up the tattooed guy's crimes, and in return his boys tread some morally grey territory to help me with my work. I lied to you about seeing the future because I wanted to have some fun with those goons, and because I thought the place could use a maid.
Told ya, it was all for the toilet.
Well?
He lights up another smoke like it's an afterthought.
Valuable lesson, don't you think? That's what being a detective is about. What now? Quit crying. Thought you were a man.
You want to talk?
I take it you're quitting?
Do you even need to ask? it didn't hurt. Too much. When I think about what happened at Mitsume's detective agency, it feels like a story someone else told me. Like it isn't real because I didn't personally experience it, and so it doesn't affect me. Even factoring in all the deception, I can shrug it off because it's not my problem. Maybe the shock of finding out I've been duped triggered a subconscious defense mechanism that's protecting me from dealing with the pain directly. Well, so be it. I have no desire to face it head-on. Thus ends the Yakou Furia, part-timer at a detective agency, chapter of my life. Truth be told, I still wanted to know if the jobs Mitsume sent me on, like finding cats, investigating cheating spouses, as well as the ones I couldn't explain, sitting in a cafe all day or following someone around unnoticed, it actually had a hidden meaning. Is it some sort of fundamental detective training? You know, wax on, wax off, do the windows kind of thing? Maybe it was just an excuse to get me out of the office so he could bring women back. Anything seemed possible. Well, whatever. Who cares? Someone so easily fooled isn't cut out for detective work anyway. It's alright. What I should have been thinking about was what to do with my free time. I quit the bar, quit the agency, and was back at square one. I finally have to decide what to do with my life, but I don't want to think about it yet. I tried looking for a new part-time job, but the idea of tutoring at a cram school or working in fast food service feels off. Oh, sorry, no, just food service.
I was gonna say, Yakou. Showing too much of a mirror up to me. I said that earlier.
So I've been going to arcades instead. Sometimes I challenge nerds and delinquents in fighting games, and sometimes I kill time with puzzle games. Burning through the money I'd saved up from working. I'm intentionally cutting off my escape routes. No, I don't plan on making the arcade my home. That said, after a month as a regular, I've gone pretty good. Sometimes when I square off with someone on the other side of the cabinet who's on my level, a crowd forms. All dudes, of course. Arms crossed or chins in hands, they scrutinize my matches as if they have control over the outcome. Actually, I don't hate it.
You know, I've always wanted to get into fighting games, but I'm just not very good at, like, the input style. Like, I've practiced, like, the only real, like, traditional fighting game I've ever played for any, like, well, no, just ever played, actually, is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, of course. And it's just not, like, I don't know, I'm just not very good at these, like, oh yeah, half turns, sequence kind of things. Like, my brain just isn't very good at it. For so, like, I'm just really, I mean, I guess it's a practice thing, right? Get it in muscle memory, get it in active memory, but, like, it's just not something I'm very good at, personally. It is what it is. But you know what, I was also gonna say, why is it that it's, like, totally normal for you to stand around with your arms crossed, but then it just seems weird to walk with your arms crossed? I know, weird is, like, small talk conversation topic I think I've ever brought up on the channel, but, like, I don't know, I was just, like, thinking about this one day when I did it, and I was just walking with my arms crossed after standing with them crossed. I was like, man, this just seems so wrong, so fundamentally not right. Anyway.
When I win, the reserved applause goes beyond the wow, cool type of platitude you get for some chick. It's genuine admiration. Craving that validation, I grip the stick and hit the buttons. I block my opponent's attacks with precise timing and take advantage of their openings to land weak but confirmed counters. It's gradually depleting HP bar as the remaining distance to the finish line calls to me.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Other woman. Oh god. What voice do I give her? Just give her the You're gonna get the Kurumi voice, generic female. Oh, Yakou, so this is where you've been.
What? My opponent combos into a super that lands squarely on my chin. My fighter, a capoeirista. I've never Never heard capoeira turned into an Easter thing before, but it's sent flying and lands on his back. Sparse applause sounds, but not for me. My eyes narrow as I turn toward the voice. A woman with a familiar face stands before me, whose name I don't recall. Mitsume's playmate number 2. She bumped into Ahab that one time.
Kiriko Cornelius? Remember me?
Yeah, maybe not. It's been a while.
A long time no see.
I've been looking for you. I don't have your info, and Mitsume said he didn't know where you were either.
Why? What do you need from me?
Well, I have a request. A mystery I want you to solve.
A mystery? You mean like a case?
Exactly. An unsolved case.
In short, Kiriko's story. She had a twin sister. I'm just gonna call her Angie, but I feel like it's more like Ange. Angie Cornelius. An incident occurred 12 years ago, when they were both elementary school students. Angie disappeared without a trace. The police organized a search, but they couldn't find her. 12 years passed without any leads. However, bones believed to belong to Angie. Damn it, I really want to say Ange now that I've seen it, but Angie washed up on the riverbank in Kanai Ward's Kamasaki district a few days ago. During the course of forensic information, the bones were found to belong not to Angie, but to her sister, Kiriko Cornelius. We decided an arcade wasn't the best place for a conversation of this magnitude and relocated to a cafe. Oh, I see. Spoilers for Persona 5 Royal. We decided an arcade wasn't the best place for a conversation of this magnitude and relocated to a cafe. Kiriko calmly takes a drag of her cigarette. None of it makes sense. There are a few things bothering me.
Of course. Ask away.
Are you saying the two of you were switched? If Kiriko is the one who died, that would make you the supposedly missing Angie, correct?
Not quite. It's still under investigation, but it's a possibility. I've gone my entire life thinking I'm Kiriko Cornelius, but maybe I'm really Angie. I might have been swapped and just never realized it.
But why do you want me to solve it? I'm not Mitsume, and this is the sort of thing you'd ask the WDO to handle.
I can't tell you that yet.
You can't tell me?
You'll understand once you arrive at the scene. The riverbank where the bones washed up.
Why can't you just tell me now?
Like I said, it'll all make sense once you're there. Oh, don't tell Mitsume about this.
Mysterious.
I can't wrap my head around it. Why, after 12 years, are bones discovered belonging to the sister who had been living a normal life till now, rather than the sister who had disappeared? Why, of all people, am I being asked to investigate this case? There isn't a single mystery in this world I should have to solve. Hell, the mystery itself probably doesn't want me solving it. What if it does? What if it's a mystery only I could solve? Or rather, what if it's a mystery that wants to be solved by me specifically? The story that doesn't begin until I take on the mantle of a detective. I'd already decided to pretend my dream never existed in the first place, and yet my heart raced. It sped up as the distance between me and detective closed. Alright then. I stop at the riverbank and survey the area. Kiriko? Angie? Said I would understand once I was here, but there are no signs of a police investigation, and I have no idea where the bones had washed up. All I know is what the noise of light reflecting off the surface of the black water tells me. The river is raging.
I'm going to assume it's one of the Balaclava boys.
Yo, you made it!
An unfamiliar voice from behind. The instant realization that I'd made a critical mistake.
Ah, no, it's the big boy.
Yo. No, that's a little too close to my voice.
Yo. Yeah, let's just go for something traditionally deep. Yo, you made it.
An unfamiliar voice from behind. Instant realization that I made a critical mistake. I turn away from the black water. Before me is a man with tattoos. Teardrops, lots of them. Behind him are a dozen or so barefaced young men, including the balaclava boys, each holding matching batons. The tattooed man begins with a smirk, as if he was putting on a performance. Damn. Well, this is awkward. Well, obviously, I mean, you're here for me because of this one, but,
I've missed you, baby bro. You are Adele Weber, my younger brother, aren't you?
what do you want? Why go through all this trouble to bring me out here?
Don't you think you owe me an apology first?
Why do I apologize for getting back stolen money? If anyone should apologize...
Shut it.
The tattooed man moves closer. I have to get out of here. I look both ways, but I'm trapped. Whichever direction I run, one of the goons is gonna get me. Just as I make the realization, there's an iron tang in the back of my nose, and I find myself facing the sky.
You quit working for Mitsume, huh?
Another blow to my face.
Guess that means I got no reason to hold back.
And again in the face. My cheek is kissing the pavement. The tattooed man straddles my waist. Kinky. My arms take the brunt of the damage meant for my face. My brain latched onto one thing as it's being rocked. He doesn't have to hold back. Because I quit working for Mitsume. Confirmation the two had been working together. Dirty cops and gang members don't mess with each other's people. Guess that quid pro quo type of relationship meant I had protection until now.
Woo!
Yeah, me either. The tattooed man gets up and kicks me once in the ribs. I reflexively curl into a ball and take another kick to the back of my head. My consciousness leaps, or rather soars from me for a second. I returns and I wonder, is this really happening just because I took back the money?
Bastard. Always in the way, doing whatever pleases you.
Always in the way? Pleases me.
You know you're gonna die, right? You don't have the look of someone who's accepted it yet.
He says this with a red and bloodshot glare. Huh? What? I'm a little scared. Please, wait. He delivers the strongest kick yet to my stomach, and I believe everything he says. He's gonna kill me. I'll become a tattoo under his eyes. But always in the way? Doing whatever pleases me. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm gonna be killed because of it. I can't even draw a breath to try and explain. Plenty of things I wanted to do. I wanted to travel abroad and experiment with a girl and become a detective. Yeah. I wanted to become a detective.
Is he still talking to you, Yakou? I feel like Mitsume has probably shown up at this point. Still getting the shit kicked out of you, though.
Wonder what's going on. When the tattooed man stopped kicking me? Or am I already dead? In my current state of mind, I hear sirens, but I can't tell if they're real or imaginary. Police? Did some kind soul call them? I managed to raise my head and try to grasp the situation. First, it doesn't seem like I'm dead. Second, this feels real. 6 police cars are parked along the vastness of the riverbank. The cops that had spilled out from them are running around, shouting and threatening the goons. The goons, including the tattooed man, look bewildered.
Damn it.
The tattooed man takes off at full speed.
Freeze, creep!
An officer gives chase.
Not happening.
One of the tattooed men's henchmen tackles the officer and the two crash into the ground. That triggers an all-out war. The hell? I don't know what's going on, but it seems I'm saved.
Yeah, it's gotta be him, right?
Yo, long time no see, Yakou.
Huh? I follow the source of the voice as he enters my field of vision. Of course.
Your nose, it's leaking.
Mitsume. It's not just my nose, is it?
Nope, you look terrible.
What the hell is going on?
I'll explain everything, but first...
It's with that intense stare. Mitsume lowers his head to peer into my eyes.
My bad. For being late. We were planning to arrive sooner, but got a bit tied up.
Please stop bowing. What do you mean? What are you apologizing for? Mitsume raises his head and fiddles with his lighter, trying to light a cigarette.
Simply put, it's just a job.
A job?
Truth is, all that stuff about being a master detective who can see the future isn't true. I really am just a local private eye.
Yeah, but... He sits down on the spot. Finally successful in lighting up his smoke, he gets comfortable and goes on.
Just like you said, I partnered up with Tattoo Face and his runts. We also had ties with the police. Detectives are basically mercenaries, you know. That kind of thing happens. This is where it gets complicated. About a week before I bumped into you, the police asked me to work with them in bringing down that gang. It was starting to get a little out of hand, so the police offered me a pretty sweet deal. Naturally, I accepted. Coincidentally, I ran into you, the person they just robbed. I figured I could use you, so I set you as bait to lure them into blatantly committing a crime. Then the police take care of the rest.
Blatantly?
You know they're about to kill you, right? At the very least, Big Brother Weber is gonna get slapped with an attempted murder charge.
So... You were planning this from the day we met?
That's the gist of it.
Okay. But you don't actually have foresight or whatever, so...
You remember all those meaningless jobs I sent you on? Sitting in a specific seat in a cafe all day, endlessly tailing someone you didn't know a thing about? It was all to disrupt their drug deals. The cafe you sat in was where the transactions went down. The person you followed around with no subtlety was a dealer. The gang let you be since you were with me, but their hatred built up all the same. They were ready to snuff you the second you left my protection. By the way, you saw me handing money over to Big Brother Weber. It was me making up for your actions. It was an apology for how you were interfering with their business, going about it as you pleased.
As I... pleased?
Right. I told them you were acting alone out of your own weird sense of justice.
I see. I had been in the way, doing as I pleased. Completely without my knowledge.
One last thing. If the plan was...
Oh. One last thing. If the plan was to book them, why not strike while they're in the middle of a deal? Sounds like a good idea, but...
Oh no, it is me. One last thing. If the plan was to book them, why not strike while they're in the middle of a deal? Sounds like a good idea, but wouldn't have worked. Big Brother Weber, old tattoo face, rarely gets his hands dirty. Even if we hit the sites where the deals go down, we'd only catch the small fry. That wouldn't have fixed anything. That's why we had to use you as bait. Whether it's to maintain discipline in the ranks or to keep the underlings afraid, only the boss decided when it was time to kill someone. So I made him want to murder you. Well, sorry about that. School of Hard Knocks, right?
First and foremost, are you kidding? They were about to kill me! That kind of apology isn't worth shit! I could have actually died! Fuck off! But at the same time... rad. Whatever little of my brain that's still functional can figure out this much. If this is just a regular detective, imagine how impressive master detectives belonging to the WDO must be. Whatever anger and dejection I feel over being used as a pawn is supplanted by envy for detectives. That said, I force my aching body up and shove Mitsume by the shoulder.
Ah!
Mitsume, the man who cannot see the future, falls into the evening river.
What the hell was that?
Simply put, it's just payback. That was dangerous. I actually came close to respecting that fraud. Thanks to Mitsume, the gang has been dismantled. With that, Kane Ward became just a little more peaceful. Doesn't feel that way, but it must be, right? As for me, I returned to my part-time job at Mitsume's agency. Lots of cats and cheating spouses. Plus, occasionally assisting Mitsume when he'd get a request. Stuff that felt like real detective work. No more concerns about my future path anymore. I tossed those aside. I decided I'd train here a bit longer and become a detective. It was embarrassing to admit, so I still hadn't told Mitsume. 2 months passed after my return to the office. Just like that, my life as I knew it came to an abrupt end.
The detective agency is finished.
What? What did you do?
What's that supposed to mean? I'm getting married.
What?
To Ahab. You met her, didn't you?
Oh, congratulations.
We're moving to our hometown. Not sure if I'll set up a new office there, but I'm finished here.
Unexpected ending. A happy one. Happy? Happy. A happy ending. As if! From what Ehab had said, it didn't seem like she thought much of Mitsume. But I guess people just say things sometimes. I still don't understand a woman's heart.
What about you? You decided what you're going to do with your life?
I was thinking of becoming a detective. It's something I've wanted since I was a kid, and it looks like it could be fun from what I've seen.
Huh. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, you're just saying that.
No, I'm serious. Makes me kinda happy. Feels like my time as a detective in this town has some meaning.
Huh. I see. That's one way to look at it. My desire to become a detective gives meaning to Mitsume's efforts here as a detective. Well, ultimately it's my dream. Something I'm doing for my own sake. I want to become the type of detective who makes people happy to have me around. Afterward. Yujiro Koizumi.
Oh, this is the writer. Or maybe not the writer. I assume the writer. Yuichiro Koizumi. I hope you enjoyed How to Be a Master Detective, a Yakou Furio case. This novel is about an event that took place more than a decade before the main game, but you can read it before or after playing. When did you read it? Before or after? Well, it might have been after. If you're going to start playing soon, I hope you look forward to seeing what Yakou becomes. If you've already played, try imagining how Yakou's life would have turned out if he'd never experienced the events of the novel. Would his future change or not? It might be fun to think about. Ah, there he is! This fucker. Kazutaka Kodaka, but, old habits. What did you think of young Yakou's story? Did you read it before you played the game or after you finished it? If you read it before, please read it again after playing. You might experience brand new feelings. If you read it after, please erase your memory and read it again as if you've never played the game before. Fuck you, Kodaka! How dare you're gonna leave me on that shit? What a fucking Monokuma Theatre line. Fuck you, you bastard. Dude, I'm still not over that pink blood twist. Fuck you, Kodaka! Oh, there we go. I mean, hey, that was kinda... sure, yeah, we'll insert a bookmark, why not? That was kind of nice. I did get, as I said, like, in the moment, I did kind of get to enjoy seeing Yakou. Honestly, kind of just be more active, full stop. If there's one thing I did kind of miss, well, not miss, but I wished was more prevalent in the main game, was, I mean, Yakou himself. A lot of the time, right, he's kind of just a dippy fucking loser who doesn't really do anything, right? Which, fair enough. Part of that's to build up to Chapter 4, right? But, you know, this is something else I said, that as much as I totally bought by the end that all the master detectives who worked with Yakou respected him, but I really would have liked to see them all be together a little bit more. Maybe see Yakou, maybe give advice, do a little bit of detective work in the story that, like, further justified that. But, you know, again, I still totally bought it, right? And I can get it as just a baseline. Like, you know, the work he does as just a regular dude fighting in his own way against Amaterasu Corporation, right? Like, I totally get that, of why all the, why someone like Hallara would respect Yakou, even though Hallara is probably a more competent detective than Yakou. You know what I mean? So, just getting to see him do a little bit more here, and not even entirely be the hero, right? He is still kind of a dippy loser in his own right. I mean, he's not as, like, worn down, you know? I think that's certainly an interesting contrast here, and in the main game, right? He's much more of a, no, Amaterasu Corporation, it's fine, you can leave us alone, we'll leave you alone, it's fine. Don't worry, Seth, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry, Swank. It's gonna be fine. Don't leave it be. Because, yeah, you know, like, he's a lot more pathetic, and it makes sense in the main game. So, seeing a new side to him here was good. I like it. Honestly, I tend to really enjoy the light novels they include in these games, right? I think overall, I don't know, overall, like, you're thinking of, like, Danganronpa If and Ultra Despair Hagakure. I mean, this might be my least favorite one, but it's also definitely the shortest, right? Definitely the shortest. So you kind of can't even really compare. But I did like this. I think this is good. It's a nice way to start the DLC, I think. And I mean, I have enjoyed just having this, the BGM in my ear. Because, man, you know, oh god, I did actually really enjoy this song. I like, just generally, I feel like I don't give games not enough credit for their soundtracks, but I always feel like I can't really talk about soundtracks in video games, because I feel so unqualified to talk about music. Like, I cannot even identify musical instruments in pieces of music. Like, the most basic of instruments. I can't do it. I don't have an ear for it. So, I always feel super unqualified to talk about music, but, like, this track, this is, like, one of the ones that I think of when I think of Raincoat, and it's just, I feel like it gets the atmosphere of the entire game so well, and I so enjoy it, right? Like, when I was reading through this, I could kind of imagine that rainy day in the middle of the night, sitting in Yakou's office, just, like, looking through an old file. It's good. It's a great vibe. It's fucking amazing. It's something I don't think I gave the game enough credit for after my first run. Or first playthrough, not first run. Different kind of game to do runs in. But, yeah. That's it for the first episode. My voice is so badly shot. I should have brought some water. I didn't expect this to be a light novel, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah. Hour and a half straight of doing the Yakou voice. Yeah, I'm fucked. So, in the next episode, if I'm sounding a little bit hoarse, if I'm sounding like Mitsume, you know why. Yeah. Okay, thank you for watching. see you in the next one. I don't know. I don't actually know what order we're doing them in. We're doing them in whatever order the game gives them to me in. I don't know who's next. I think it's Desuhiko, but I don't actually know, so... we'll see. I guess. Yeah. See you then for that. Unless you just really don't like Desuhiko, which I know a lot of people don't. I know I'm kind of alone in really liking him. So, yeah. See you then. But until then, goodbye.